Hello, beautiful, and welcome to another episode of Beautiful I Am Colored. This podcast started accidentally, but really on purpose, when the printing of my debut book was delayed due to unforeseen circumstances. We are now in season 2 of the podcast and have morphed into a talk show. Each week, I'll be sharing some insights that have to do with the themes that were highlighted in my book, Beautiful I Am Colored. And those themes will be related to the spirit, mind, soul, and body. To those of you who have supported me for the past several months now, I want to say thank you so much. Your support means the world to me, whether you've listened, shared, did some marketing for me as my mom has done. She's like the best marketer in all the world, to bring attention to the work that I am really trying to do, the intentional work that I'm trying to do here. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. If you're new here, this is your first time listening to me, I would encourage you to follow me on Instagram at Beautiful I Am Colored. I also have a website where I blog or write from time to time, and that website address is beautifuliamcolored.com. And finally, if you want to send me and drop me a line via email, you can reach me at beautiful.iamcolored@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. This week, I'm going to talk to you about the topic of mental blocks, something that I kind of highlighted last week, and some things that I've been going through, like for the past couple weeks as it relates to just having a mental block and not having a clear channel to be able to hear next steps. But before I get into today's topic, I want to take some time to send some thank yous and shout outs to some people who have contributed to helping me this week. The first person that I want to shout out is the Honorable Elbra Wedgeworth, who also serves as my mentor here in the Denver area. I was really struggling with some personal things this week, and so I went over and we had a chit chat on her front porch. And the beautiful thing that I love about Elbra is that she never judges me, like ever. And she listens to like the whole story before she responds to anything. And also she encourages me to think about things from a different lens, and she absolutely hates to see me sad. And so I just want to say thank you so much, Elbra. I love you so much. I know the podcasting thing is not necessarily her thing, but she does have her way of finding out the things that I'm getting into. And so I just want to say thank you. The second person I want to shout out this week is Miss Halisi Vincent. Halisi was one of the former presidents for Colorado Black Women for Political Action, which is where I met her. And she and her husband, Rick, are doing some phenomenal work as it relates to Black couples and financial security or finances. And I texted her this week to follow up on something and told her, I was graduating. For those of you who don't know, graduation sale commencement was yesterday, and I posted a few pictures and stuff on my Instagram, so you should definitely check it out there. But I texted her just saying, hey, I know I'm a little bit behind, but I definitely will get to it. And she's expressed how proud she was of me and happy for me, rather, and asked if I was happy for me. And when I tell you I got that text message and just looked at it and said, wow, am I really happy for me? And my response, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, because, I got to use my phone to record this, but my response was like, great question. I know that I'm proud of myself and that is a huge accomplishment. But also at the same time, I have experienced a profound amount of sadness associated with this, what should be a celebratory moment. I've actually had some valleys, if you will, the past couple weeks. And the valley having to do with, and I'll cascade this more into the topic for the week of mental blocks in a minute, but the valley really had to do with me questioning, if I'm on the right track. I've ended this phenomenal period of my life in academia and been celebrated and, had a party last week with my book. Well, no, it's 3 weeks, a little over 2 weeks now, my God, that I had my book signing party and stuff. And so I've had all these monumental milestones, and, I just was kind of overcome with sadness, not so much that I couldn't get out of bed or anything like that, but the frustrating part of achieving something and not having a next big major goal, which is, like I've shared with you, is critical for me. Like, I thrive off of a mission, off of an objective. And so I was just questioning the things that I felt like came to me, the things that, I feel like I'm created to do. Namely, one is this podcast. And when she sent me that question, it resonated with me so deeply. Like, I felt like tears well up. That stinging sensation you get behind your eyeball when you have something that pierces. And it was such a good question. And her response, for those of you wondering, was simply that it always happens like this. Because one of the things I shared with her is like, I don't really know what it is next. Like, the things that I thought I was going to really be doing 2 years ago before I started law school, I'm not doing, or at this point in time don't have an interest to do. And the not knowing part, I can't stand, because I thrive off of plans and stuff. And so she just responded and stated to me that it never is really like what you plan or what you figure out. And that brief answer, oh my God, y'all, it just gave me the peace that I needed. Because she, has walked down some paths, that I haven't walked before. And so I know this thankful moment, this segment is a little bit long, but I just think it's so important to acknowledge people, which I will be doing every week from now on at the beginning. Just sending some thank yous and shout outs to people who have had an impact, whether it be people I know personally or whether it be a recording from 1983, whatever it is. I plan to do that every week because there is something significant about reflection, sure, but also acknowledging the people who are touching your life in an impactful way. So thank you, Miss Halisi Vincent. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank the University of Denver's Black Law Student Association board, board members, as well as recent and former board members, as well as DU Sturm College of Law. I have had quite the journey with attending and how can I say, learning so much about the law. So many challenges, but so many great conversations and so many friendships built along the way. So I just want to say thank you so much, BOSA, for your support, for everything that you do for the Black law students at the University of Denver. It means the world. And so I don't know if you hear that often, but it's important for me to publicly thank you, especially to Miss Camille Moore, as well as the former board members. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here, just a short one. And then we're going to cascade into this week's topic. I won't keep you long, but I have a few things on my mind that came to me the past couple weeks while I was going through some things. So we'll be right back in just a moment. So, mental blocks, and really the questioning of greatness, I would say would be the sub topic for this segment of the show. You recall that last week's, or earlier this week, actually, because I didn't record during my same timeline as I typically do. And you'll recall that previously I shared with you that I had just really been struggling, with just having a block and kind of feeling really kind of almost foggy about next steps. And I wanted to share this week with you about some insights pertaining to me that hopefully might be beneficial with you, of some things that I do when I experience these type of blocks, because they actually occur usually. I've noticed my pattern is the blocks usually occur when I'm about to enter a season of change. I typically can sense that before it comes to me, usually weeks or months, and sometimes even years in advance. And so what I've noticed about myself is there is a profound sense of sadness because I'm having to release what was in order to make room for what is or what is to come. And that creates some dissonance within myself between logically and mentally how I think and perceive things to be or want them to be versus what is going on in my soul and spirit. And so while I'm not a doctor, I definitely am well tuned with myself, which is why I tend to speak about myself and share examples about myself so that others can potentially glean some points from it. And so this week I wanted to share, there's a multitude of things, but I wanted to share 3 top things that I do whenever I encounter these mental blocks or this questioning of greatness. Or questioning purpose, really, I should say. It may be even a better way of phrasing it. And the first thing, and these are not in order of priority at all. But the first thing is shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Okay? Shut up. Okay? I know that may sound a little bit harsh, but I hope you can hear the spirit behind what I'm saying. Close your oral cavity. Close it. Here's what I mean by that. Sometimes when we encounter moments where we are questioning things, we will start to say things that are not true about our very purpose. I'll give you an example. So y'all know I had my party, right? A few weeks back. Well, some of y'all know. I had my party a few weeks back. So I get the pictures back from the photographer. Shout out to Jasmine. So I get the pictures back from the photographer and I'm going through the pictures and looking at the pictures on my phone as well. And you want to know something? As wonderful and beautiful as those pictures were, you want to know what I was highlighting? I was highlighting, ooh, damn, my arm. Ooh, look at that thigh meat. Ooh, look at that knee meat. Critical of myself. And you have to shut up when those moments come to you and you start self-doubting and you start meditating on the things that maybe need work, which of course y'all know I'm working on myself physically, but shut up. Quiet your mind, quiet your head, whatever that means for you. I don't care if it's a lavender bath, your candles, your freaking incense, going for a walk, working, whatever it is for you, do that instead of speaking negatively against yourself. And I had to do that for the past 2 weeks, y'all. I've had to do that several times, like find my mind going over to a negative space, but pulling it back. Finding myself going to a negative space in this area and pulling it back. Including questioning this podcast and this platform. And I know I'm being a blessing because so many of you have told me that. This is not an arrogant statement, but I'm just saying I know I'm being a blessing. But at the same time, this takes a lot, believe it or not, behind the scenes of spiritual work for me to come to you, once a week in order to provide you with the things that have been a blessing to me. And so I just wanted to say, yeah, shut up. Okay, I say that in the most nice, loving way as possible, but shut your mouth. Close your oral cavity. Quiet your mind. Quiet your mind. Okay. I think you guys heard me on that one. The second thing that I do is typically I process things internally. And from the vast majority of any type of obstacle or any type of thing, I can do well over 90% of that within myself. Between like me and God. Like I can do it. But there are times that other small percentage where I cannot. And during these past 2 weeks, which is why I shouted out both Elber and Halisi this week in the thank yous and shout out segment, is because there are a small percentage of time where I can't. Like I just can't do it by myself. And so the second point is to only discuss sacred things with trusted people. And oh my goodness. This is so important, okay? This is so very important. Don't go and tell everybody who will listen to things that are sacred to you. Here's what I mean by that. Let's give an example. My marriage is exceptionally sacred to me. There is maybe 2, pushing 3 people who I will talk to about my marriage, period. Period, because that is a sacred thing for me. My kids, another thing. So I guess you could say under that umbrella, family. I do not talk about my family to any and everybody. things that are going on with the kids, that may be a struggle because you don't know what other people's words are going to be put on your sacred things. And so I'm very intentional about partnering or discussing with people who I know will hold what I'm saying in a safe space. And so that's number 2. I'm not going to belabor that. I think it's very clear what I'm saying to you, but that's number 2. Number 3, and this will I'll talk about this at some point, probably through all of my recordings that I share with you. Number 3 is work out. And you don't have to be in the gym, okay? You don't have to like doing whatever. You can work out in your garden. You can work out, just by going for a brief walk. You can work out by watching a YouTube video in the comfort of your home. And they have a range of free videos that you can use, from sit down in your chair workouts to whatever. But we have gotten away from sweating, and we need to sweat out toxins. No, I am not a scientist, but here's what I do know. Whenever I get a good sweat in, I feel better, even if the workout was hard. And when you first start working out, let me just say, if you're on the heavier side of things, and y'all already know I've been there. I've been well over 200 pounds before. As a fact, I've been close to 230 pounds before in my life. And I don't care if it was around pregnancy or not. It doesn't matter. The weight is the weight, okay? And so what I want to say is, your body does need time to get out all of the stuff that we ingest, everything from the air to, outside, quite literally, and things that, how can I say this? And the things that you kind of can fester in terms of your emotional state, which translate into stress. And it'll take some subject matter expert who may or may not be on my show in the future when I interview this, because this is a very important point. Sweat. Work out. Get this stuff out of your body. And to those of you who are listening to me where you're just starting, or you're trying to tap into, or maybe you've had like a major injury, because I've been injured before, my Achilles. It took me a couple of years to get my Achilles back. So walking and jogging just wasn't an option for a period of time. But even at that, there's floor exercises that you can do. There's swimming. There's a lot of things that you can do, I guess is what I'm saying. But when you convince yourself that you're not going to do it, meaning work out, and you let all that toxicity build up, it manifests itself in other forms, whether it be your attitude, whether it be in dis-ease or dis-ease and discomfort. Y'all get what I'm saying, okay? I'm not going to belabor this point, because I'm not hitting you on top of the head, but at the same time, I'm trying to be firm about what I'm saying. And so those 3 things have helped me these past 2 weeks in going through, pushing through like this next season of life that I'm in, and then just being humble to what I'm hearing are my next steps. And so to recap, the things that have helped me these past 2 weeks: mental blocks, questioning of greatness, questioning of purpose. This is not the entire book, but these are 3 things. Shut up. Okay. Close your oral cavity and saying negative things about yourself. Only discuss sacred things with trusted people. And then work out. Work out, like sweat. It's getting warmer now. Sweat. Okay. That concludes the show for this week. I hope that you have enjoyed it, but more than anything, I pray that you have found a sense of hope and healing. Remember, the future you is waiting on you. Until next time, beautiful.